What is gravy, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be ranking my first 20 platinums. So we have our list here in front of me. I've got 5 tiers. Obviously the top one had to be called Little Nightmares because it's the best game ever made, we all know it. Second tier, you know these are good, so you know these are pretty decent platinums. Third tier is AAA, so it's a little generic, kind of, you know, your standard fare. Number 4, it's a bit cheap. This could be the game wasn't the best, but I still stuck it through, or the platinum is just not brilliant. And number 5, I did it for the plot. There's at least one in that tier. It's probably going to shock a few people. Anyway, if you're going to enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. And let's get into my list. So first up, we have A Plague Tale. I've said many times on this channel how much I adore this game, and I mean, you know for a fact that that is going straight into Little Nightmares. It just is. That game is phenomenal. The sequel's coming out this year. I'm maybe going to replay it if I get a chance. Probably not with all the other games that are coming out this year, but straight away, no questions. There's no questions. If you have any disagreements, I don't care. Next up, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, I did really enjoy this game. It's definitely a bit of a AAA, if we're thinking about it. The only thing that's making me question whether to put it there is the 100% clearing the map and having to sail into lots of empty water for no reason. So we're toying between a bit cheap and AAA. Do you know what? Let's be spicy. I'm gonna put it in a bit cheap, purely for that reason. The game itself I really enjoyed, but for that one trophy, it's going there. Now, my first ever platinum trophy, Assassin's Creed Origins, which may shock some of you. It was the first game I ever got 100% completion in, and I did really love it. I haven't really been back to it since. I played through both the DLCs, but what was the platinum like? Because this was the one that had the original over-design trophy, I think, which if you've played that or Valhalla, you know those trophies are just ludicrous. But it's definitely a better trophy list in my opinion than Odyssey. So for that reason, it's still not Little Nightmares. I'm not sure if it's the next one down. It's either that or AAA. For the time being, we're gonna put it in. You know these are good. Just is. Next up, Afterparty. Now, I really loved Oxenfree, which is also in these first 20. And so straight after Oxenfree, I went and played Afterparty. And I didn't enjoy it as much, but I still really like the premise. And as far as I remember, there's not really any really annoying or cheap trophies in there. You have to try all of the drinks in the game. You have to win a few mini games. I'm not even sure if I think it's possible in one playthrough. I probably should have researched some of these before I made this video, if we're being entirely honest. But going off gut feeling, I'm going to put it in You Know These Are Good. Just because I really enjoyed the game. And like I said, the platinum was pretty straightforward, so I can't really put it lower. And it's definitely not generic AAA. Next up, Astro's Playroom. Again, it's going straight into Little Nightmares because I absolutely adored that platinum. I thought it was simple, sure. It was quick, absolutely. But my god, was it brilliant. And I'm gonna do something a little bit different, and I'm gonna bundle in the DLC for that game because those speedruns were some of the most fun I've had in a game. Basically, me and my friend got together and we were just running them for, I think it was like 4 in the morning that we gave up. But honestly, that was a brilliant time, and for that reason alone, it's going in the top spot. Next up, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 2019 remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it. I, again, really love this game, but I think this is our first sort of generic-ish trophy list. Finish the game on the hardest difficulty, do some miscellaneous ones, and that's about it. And I'm not saying it's a bad trophy list because I really enjoyed this platinum, but I think for those reasons, it's kind of got to go in the AAA slot, surely. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else it can really go. Next up, Concrete Genie. Again, adored this game. It's one slightly lesser known Sony first party game. I did have a great time. I'm blanking a little bit on how the platinum was. I'm trying to think if there was anything particularly difficult about it, to be honest. It was, you had to collect a lot of stuff. I don't think you had to do a bunch of miscellaneous things with the genies that once you painted them on the wall. I'm going to put it in, this is good, because it is. And I say there's nothing that quite, it's definitely not generic AAA, and I wouldn't even say it's a bit cheap. So yeah, we'll put it there. Now, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is a great game. I absolutely love it. Again, it's possibly a walking sim, but I don't know. The slow walking is definitely a sticking point for this one. Also, some of the trophies are kind of annoying. There's one for getting through the entire game without finishing any of the story points. And sometimes these things happen sort of automatically as you walk past them. As much as I love the game, I am probably going to put it in a bit cheap, just because some of them are annoying, and like I said, that slow walking pace, it's not great. It's really not great at all. Okay, now we've got a string of amazing Sony games. Well, Final Fantasy's not, but it's still a console exclusive, which is ridiculous, but we'll gloss over that. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Is it Little Nightmares worthy? I feel like I need to be very, very strict on what goes into that tier. I think because of those like hard mode challenges, it's definitely going to be, these are good. Like, sure, the what you call it, the Bahamut fight, if you know, you know, that's something else. But I wouldn't class it in the same tier for me as the other two. I may move that one. That one may end up a little higher. We'll see. Okay, Ghost of Tsushima. Now, this is going to possibly be a little bit iffy, but I'm going to put this in AAA. Not because I think the game is generic or anything like that. I think the game's fantastic. I think what it does with the open world formula is really, really interesting. The trophies, however, are a little bit generic. You have to do a lot of map clearing. There's a lot of, well, not a lot of collectibles. You don't have to get everything, thank God. There's a hell of a lot in that game. But you do have to do all the shrines, all the lighthouses. You have to collect a bunch of like weapon sets and stuff like that. You have to upgrade stuff, do side quests. And again, it's a generic trophy list. But I'm not saying I don't like the game. I fucking love that game. I absolutely adore it. As I do with the next one. Now, This is going to cause some controversy, I think. Because I love God of War 2018. I'm so excited for Ragnarok. It's absolutely become one of my favourite games of the entire PS4 generation. Did I enjoy this platinum? Not all of it. And this is possibly due to the fact that I'd already played through the entire game and then I went back to clean up. It's possibly not the best way to do it. If I was going to do it again, I'd recommend using a guide from the beginning for the collectibles, or just ignore all of them and then go back to the start and run through it again. But if I was being mean to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, then yeah, purely for the Ravens. That's all it is. I could deal with the Valkyries, but those Ravens, I swear if they're in Ragnarok, I'm gonna have a hissy fit. I just am. Sorry. Moving on. Hellblade. So the trophy list is nothing spectacular. In fact, there's only one trophy that's not automatically earned from playing through the game, and that is for some collectibles, of which there are not very many. But in a similar way to Plague Tale, I just absolutely adored getting this platinum. It was my second ever platinum. I jumped into it basically straight after Assassin's Creed Origins, and it's going right at the top. Horizon Zero Dawn, again, another fantastic game. Absolutely adored it. In terms of platinum, I'm trying to decide if this is more along the Ace Origins Final Fantasy VII route rather than the Ghost route. It's certainly up there. Do you know what? I think purely for the sheer amount of collectibles, it's gonna have to be AAA. The hunting grounds are the only thing that's making me want to put it higher, because I adored doing those, and I was a bit gutted that you didn't have to get the same requirements in Forbidden West as you did in this one. Yeah, I'm gonna try and be a little bit. No, I'm not. It's going in. These are good. Sorry, it just is. It's my list. I'm not being objective at all. It's all subjective. Okay, Medievil Remake. Again, this one was fun, but if I'm being entirely honest, I did it for the plot. I used to adore this game. I even played was it the PSP remaster or whatever it was of one of them? I can't remember which one. Yeah, it's just your basic sort of 3D old school hack and slashy platformery sort of game. It's a ton of fun. It's great. It's a great laugh. Sir Daniel Fortescue is hilarious without saying a word. I love it. But I can't lie. This is the internet. I must tell the truth. And I did this for the platinum and nothing else. Moving on to Oxenfree. It's going straight up to the top. It just is. Everything about this game, I loved. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the weird twist of once you get through the first playthrough, if you don't know, play through the game, trust me, and then play through it again, trust me even more. But yeah, and there wasn't really anything. There was a couple of collectibles, and you had to do a third playthrough where you didn't say a word the entire time, but that playthrough takes no time at all because you skip a lot of the conversations, obviously. Next we have Sea of Solitude, and again, this is going right into I did it for the plat. I bought it cheap around the time I did Concrete Genie, and it looked cool. but I just didn't really vibe with the game at all. It was a bit janky, a bit glitchy. The mechanics just weren't all there for me. Like aesthetically, I thought the art style was really good, but that's not enough to pull you through. And there was nothing really special about the trophy list. So yeah, it's going in that one. Next up, Marvel's Spider-Man. Again, this could go a couple of ways. It's definitely not going in Little Nightmares. I don't think, for me personally, it's on the same level as how much I enjoyed getting those platinums. Again, it's similar to the God of War thing of I played through the game, I finished the game, went back for the cleanup, and ended up having to grind out those random crimes for far longer than I would care to admit. But I'm gonna put it in AAA. That might not go down too well with certain people. Sorry, Plat Bro. But yeah, I did love the game. Obviously, there was some aspects of the platinum that really just didn't sit right with me, and some of them are just, let's be honest, quite generic AAA fare. Really, that sort of Sony formula type deal. Jedi Fallen Order. I don't remember if there was any like collectible-y things in that game. What I do remember is traveling around collecting bits and pieces and doing random stuff was incredibly irritating. Although it was incredibly satisfying to work out how to do I think you had to like force pull that frog and then you can cut off its tongue, and I think that was a trophy, if I remember right. I remember doing that. I also remember growing all of the plants, and I think that was the last thing I needed for this platinum, and now that I'm remembering it, was so unbelievably annoying, because I think you had to wait like real time for them to grow. Do you know what? For that reason alone, now that I've remembered it, it's going in a bit cheap. It is. I love the game. This is the thing. A lot of these games I absolutely love. I'm just trying to think about how I would rank the actual platinum, and going for the platinum. So, yeah. Adored the game though. Absolutely loved it. Now, this one is the one that's, well, it's The Wolf Among Us. It's going in I did it for the plat, because that's what I did. I went through this. I'd never played it before. Obviously, I'd heard things of Telltale games, but I'd never played one before, and I knew that they were absolutely easy platinums, and I wanted an easy platinum. It just so happens that I then ended up absolutely adoring the game, but like with Medievil, adoring the game does not negate the fact that I literally played through it for the platinum trophy. And it's a Telltale game. All you have to do is finish it. You don't have to do anything else. Just finish the game and you're done. Job's a good one. So that's it. Last but not least, and I don't know why this was last, because they get arranged alphabetically and W is definitely not before L, but we'll get over it. The Last of Us Part 2. This could be a spicy one again. For me personally, I loved the game, and I loved doing the sort of, what was it called, Seattle bit, where it was a bit more open world and you got to wander around and find all these cool things. Obviously the story's a point of contention with a lot of people. Do I think it's on the same level as... It's not going on the top for me, I don't think. Is it on the same level as Concrete Genie and Final Fantasy? and Horizon. Yeah, it is. People can shout at me all they want. It's great. I loved it. I know you have to play through like 1.5 playthroughs to get all the upgrades, but I don't care. I really didn't. I really enjoyed going back through again. And it doesn't take too long once you know where you're going. It really doesn't. But that's it. I think we're done. Unless there's any I want to move around. Spider-Man's kind of a sticking point. I'm not sure if I want to put that in the, you know, these are good ones. Same with a couple of them, to be honest. God of War. I'm going to say God of War's going up there. Yeah, I know the Ravens were really annoying, but every other part of the Platinum was wonderful. But that is my list. That is my ranking of my first 20 Platinum trophies. I'm sure lots of people will let me know their thoughts in the comments down below, so that'll be fun. But if you want to see any more sort of videos like this, please do let me know. If you want to see more of my nonsense, there is another video right over there. As always, I have been Pete, and I shall catch you all next time.